Okay, guys, so we're gonna tackle exercise 3. This is from Panda's writing book. Punctuation, chapter 16, commas, dashes, and columns. Origami. Right. Question number 1. So it says here, origami originated in Japan, but today it's practiced all over the world. Literally, the word means folding paper and refers to the creation of decorative shapes and figures from paper. Okay, so it's just information. It doesn't affect our question. Example creations include animals, lanterns, and boats. It totally makes sense to me because example creation is subject and include is verb. So between subject and verb, we shouldn't use any punctuation mark. So animals, lanterns, and boats, they are objects. So that's perfect. Now we're gonna go for A. B is no good because before colon we have to have complete sentence. And example creations include. So the sentence is not complete, so we can't accept that. Include, so the dash is also same because dash, single dash and colon, they do the same function, almost the same thing we can say. So it's not good. Include, this is also, we can't use comma because the sentence is not complete. Or in other words, between verb and object, we don't use comma, do we? No. So that's gone. So A is good. Now number 2, many bookstores stock the most common way people discover and start origami being a kit. Okay, so technically approaching being, the word being, and if it comes after the comma, it's always wrong. It's always wrong, guys. So we're not gonna accept that. So this is a tip for you. So, and I mean meaning wise also it doesn't really make sense. Most bookstores stock the most common way people discover and start origami. So A is not good. The most common way, and they're not giving explanation. So that means it's taking our attention to the last point. So for us, the best option is to use here colon and then remove this, right? And then a kit. So B will be the answer because colon, why we're using colon? Because I am taking the attention of the reader into the main point. When I say most common way, I'm not saying which way. So when I get the colon here, I am hiding the important information at the very end. And after colon, we can use a noun phrase, a complete sentence, listing, that's fine. So B is good. So if I want to accept D, so what we need to do is, D is asking just remove being a kid. So let's do that. I'm going to create a scenario for you. So remove being, just like that, and comma as well. And that's it. Why people discover and start origami, a kit. It doesn't make sense here. There is no logical connection between origami and kit. So D is also not acceptable. So number 2 is best option is B. So we're going to go to question 3. So number three, as you can see here, arrows and, guys, arrows and, it doesn't work because semicolon doesn't come with and. And is fanboys. So after semicolon, we don't start fanboys. So we're not going to accept. So arrows and doesn't work with A, no change. And we've got here C is no good because one side comma and one side is dash. It should be dash and dash, comma and comma, extra information. If you want to express it, if you want to show it, it has to be with the same punctuation number. It can be brackets and brackets, or let's say parentheses and parentheses, dash, or comma and comma. So the only best option for us is this, because here it's trying to say that lines and arrows, kids generally have lines and arrows to show you where to make the fold. Okay, so here often dotted is extra information. Often dotted is extra information. So that extra information, it has to be shown. It has to be shown with comma and comma, or dash and dash, or parentheses and parentheses. So definitely here B will be the answer for us. Question 4. Elimination process is always good for us. So like this one is not very good. Look, it doesn't look good. The colon, after colon, we're starting verb. So if we do that, then we are having fragment here. That's the fragment. So no change is not good. Now, the most basic design, the one most people are taught first is, so as you can see here, this part, the one most people are taught first, this is extra information or interruption. So interruption, and as you can see, the beginning of the interaction, we got here comma. That comma cannot be removed, so that means I have to have another comma here. So we're going to go for C as the answer, guys. C is the answer. Okay. So number five, like most designs, it starts with a square piece of paper. Like most designs, that is the introduction phrase or introductory phrase. Like most designs is introductory phrase, and it should be attached with comma. So we're going to go for no change. 5 is no change. Okay, so that makes us move to the next page. Okay, so question number 6. Question number 6. Although special origami paper can be bought at craft stores, so that's a dependent clause, guys, right? Although special origami paper can be bought at craft stores, semicolon is a good choice because before and after semicolon, we almost all the time, we use complete sentences. I mean, before semicolon, always complete sentence, guys. After semicolon, most of the cases, because there are some cases that we use units of series, right, in which we can use phrases. But most of the cases, it has to be, front and back, before and after semicolon, we must use a complete sentence. So no change is no good for us. And obviously that's a dependent clause. Dependent clause, they are connected to the independent clause with comma. So we're going to go for B. B is the answer. Okay. So C is no good. Why? Because although is a connector, so we can't have another connector here. That means which is a relative clause, which is dependent clause. And then we got here sentence is ending. So we can't have dependent clause and full stop. It doesn't work, so we can't accept that. So clearly the answer is B. And we're going to move to the next question. Now here, number 7, heavy, normal copy paper suffices for sample folders, but it's a bit too heavy for prepositional phrase, and then the general rule is before prepositions, we don't use comma, or we don't use punctuation mark. So we're going to go for C. C will be the answer. It's a bit too heavy for more delicate designs. So this is like, the choice D is very crazy. You can't just, separate preposition by commas on two sides. A before we did it, and then after that, like B is crazy because semicolon, that means, sorry, colon. B is colon. Before colon, we have to have complete sentence. So it doesn't work as well. Question 8. Artist Akira Yoshizawa. Artist Akira, so you got title and name. Artist is title, Akira is name. So when title comes first, we don't have comma between them. So we're going to go for, as you can see, B is no good, A is no good. So we've got C and D, artist Akira Yoshizawa, artist Akira Yoshizawa, and comma. So we had to double check. And we've got here in the early 90s, so before preposition, we don't use comma, guys. So that makes us select C. Okay. Now we're going to move to 9. Question 9. Wet folding allows you to manipulate the paper into curves impossible with dry paper. Right, so impossible with dry paper. And then, as you can see here, to create sculptures. So what we can feel here is that this, blue highlighted area is actually continuing to this side, right? So when you read them together, word folding allows you to manipulate the paper into curves to create sculpture. So because the sentence is continuing, right, logically continuing, we can't use colon here, because colon, it means before colon we must use, or we must have complete sentence. But in this case, no. So that's why we can't accept that. We can't accept that. And that means A is no good. A is no good. Question 9, A is no good. So impossible with dry paper, that's extra information, clearly. So we have to have either comma and comma, or dash and dash, or parentheses and parentheses. So B is no good. We can't use, we cannot show extra information with semicolon and semicolon. C is no good. And the only one is D. Dash and dash. Great. So D is good. Now we're moving to 10. So question 10. Washi is most commonly made from the bark of gampi tree, but bamboo, wheat, rice, and hemp are often used as well. So that is an Oxford comma is happening when we list bamboo, wheat, rice, and hemp. So listing is happening, and in SAT we use Oxford comma rules. Oxford comma rule, it means before and we should put comma, and that's what's happening, and no change is perfect. B is no good because semicolon and fanboys, they don't come together. And then obviously colon, we can't use it because before colon we should have complete sentence. And in the C, no. Rice and, that is crazy. We cannot surround fanboys with comma in two sides. No good. Right. 11. So Miao Hayaki, a famous origami practitioner in Tokyo, continues to develop. So as you can see here, we're giving information, extra information about Hayaki. So because we're having what we call it, comma here, so we should have another comma when the extra information finishes. So Miao Hayaki is subject, continuous is the verb, so that means extra information should finish here. A famous origami practitioner in Tokyo. It makes sense. So that's extra information. So we're going to search for that option for us. So that would be the B option. As you can see here, there's a comma and there's a comma. Okay. C is no good because comma is missing. D is also no good because here's a comma is missing. And obviously A is not good as well. All right. So the answer is B. That's it. So we're done. And the next exercise is done. Now this exercise is done. That was our purpose for this video, and I'll see you in the next videos, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.